I'm ready if you guys are. Shall we do this? Shall we get this party started?
Good.
Let's get this party started. Let's give it a... Close this. And... all right, let's get this party started. And we'll switch over in a second. Okay, we'll go live. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Good to see you here. My name is Paul Tranny, Evangelist for Adobe. So thankful that you are here, as well as 2 other amazing people. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, but we got, actually the order is wrong, but we have Tom Kircha, Zach Yanger from SuperRare, and Tom's going to talk about Around initially, because that's actually what we're using to live stream, which I think this is going to be really fun. So you guys want to say hello? Make sure we can hear your audio as well.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
There we are.
Hey, everyone.
Awesome. Good to have you both here. And yeah, this format is kind of cool. We have, yeah, Tom, do you want to kind of talk about Around? Because that's why we're appearing in circles and we're able to wave at one another, right? We could see it right here. Hello. I'm going to add some filters. Just hit F on your keyboard as well, Zach, and you can kind of switch that up just for fun. Which is kind of cool. So
I chatted with Paul, and we were thinking about doing a stream about NFTs because everybody has been talking about it, you know. And then obviously Around came up, and we were like, let's do it with Around. You know, it'd be really cool to invite a guest who knows so much about NFTs, you know, and actually ask ton of questions and so on. So that's why we are in Around, and obviously. You can use it for collaboration on top of your design tools, you know, on top of your collaborative docs like Google Docs and things like that. But obviously, you can also use it for streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is our first live stream actually using Around as well. Correct?
That's right. That's right.
Pretty cool. So again, you know, just check it out. I'm a friend of Tom's, and it was just fun to kind of jump in and check out Around and seeing what it can do. It makes meetings fun, if you ask me. I was just throwing up some GIFs while you were talking, too. Because you're able to type in there whatever you want. I don't know if you could do that, Tom. There you go. A little thumbs up. Awesome. Fantastic. So I see a ton of people in here. Felicia, Obis, Abilo, Michelle, Andrew, ton of people. So welcome, everybody. This is awesome. So yeah, Tom, I don't know if there's anything else you want to mention about
Yeah, definitely.
it.
So just one last thing, you know, so today we have announced that we have raised $10 million in Series A. And by the way, we have opened the gates. So anybody can go to around.co and sign up for Around, start their account, you know, and basically start using it today.
Ah, that's big news. That's awesome. Yeah, fun to play with, man. Really appreciate it. And you donating your time the same way Zach is. We had to, I don't know, what did we have to do with you, Zach? Just kind of pull you away from reviewing portfolios or something at SuperRare? I don't know. I don't know if you could tell us a little bit about your day job and about yourself, Zach, and I want to welcome you.
For sure, yeah. Thanks for having me. Excited to chat. I am Zach Yanger. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at SuperRare, and then I also handle most of the artist relations side, mainly kind of the onboarding side of the thing and getting all of the artists kind of up to speed and learning how everything works. And I have been on the team since 2018. I joined a couple months after SuperRare launched back in early 2018, and came on as like the first hire on the team to kind of build out the marketing and artist side of things. And yeah, the rest is history. It was a long first 2 years of reaching out to artists and trying to get people interested in the space. And for a very long time, artists would think we're trying to scam them or trying to do some weird, crazy crypto thing. And I think it's been very exciting over the last couple months to see a lot more interest in the space and it getting a lot more serious. So I think it's a good time for that.
Yeah, for sure. I know just so many people are excited about it, by the way. And you're talking to a bunch of creatives basically since we're on the day Creative Cloud page and everything. So everybody I've talked to is so excited about this, right? And mainly it's the articles that we see where it's like, people making $1 zillion, whatever. I don't know. Just people making a lot of money using something called NFT. And crypto art. I think these are like a lot of new terms that are thrown around that I don't think people really know about. I don't know if you can kind of level set because you guys do use cryptocurrency on SuperRare, specifically Ether. And I don't know if you can kind of talk about the ecosystem a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So, so NFT stands for non-fungible token. And essentially it is a token that represents ownership of a unique asset. And so it could be anything from digital art to virtual land, any sort of digital file, music, really anything that lives on the internet. The big kind of problem that all of this solved is really the creation of the internet was a bit of a mixed blessing for creators, digital creators especially, because it on one hand gave creators the ability to gain massive global followings and share their work with a much larger audience, but also just because of the nature of the internet, anything that's put on the internet can be freely accessed and downloaded by anyone that has technical knowledge. And really any image or asset that's added to the internet, it is possible to get a copy of that somehow. And so that's a large part of why the music industry changed very much, because we saw that it became hard to sell audio when it could all be freely downloaded. And so when Ethereum, for those who don't know, Ethereum is a blockchain. It's like the second largest blockchain in terms of market cap behind Bitcoin. And really what happened was back in 2016, the non-fungible token standard was first launched. And this was really the first time that there became a solution to this issue of everything on the internet being freely downloadable. And so on SuperRare, the way it works is that artists on SuperRare are able to turn their digital artwork files into one-of-a-kind tokens that can be bought, sold, and traded on our marketplace and other marketplaces, where the token basically represents ownership of the digital artwork. And so while anyone can still access the file and download the file and view the file, only one person can prove that they own the file. And so, it's a big change from the traditional art world in that with traditional art, the value in it is in being able to, the value in ownership is in being able to limit who has access to see and view the artwork. And as the owner of a painting, you can decide where it lives and you can decide who gets to see it. But with internet-based art, we really think that it's about thinking about it totally differently. Like at the end of the day, with any internet content, the amount of views and shares and downloads, this is actually the best way to value this type of content. And so as a collector myself, I have many NFTs. It's actually a good thing when I see people sharing that artwork or putting that artwork on their digital frames, because that's the type of thing that increases value for owning that single NFT. And so I'm not sure if that kind of covered
it does.
top level what you're thinking.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I think there's a lot of details that, I don't know how it all works, because like there might be a specific owner of a GIF. And just so you know what's playing in the background, we're just on the Discover page on SuperRare. Awesome. And is that, so I guess there is a way to show that you are the actual owner of that piece. Is that easy to find? Obviously, if you just do a screenshot of a GIF or whatever, that's another story. But like, how can you detect who owns a piece?
Yeah, so basically each artwork is created and tokenized directly by the artists themselves on SuperRare. And so that is something that's different about SuperRare than some other platforms, is that we only allow the original artist to be the one that actually mints it. We don't let like a gallery or rep mint on an artist's behalf, or we don't mint tokens ourselves on behalf of artists. And so essentially in the future, the way that you can prove these tokens are authentic is because they were created from each artist's unique ETH address. And so each artist, when they create a SuperRare account, they all have a unique ETH wallet address, and they're the only person in the world that can access that wallet. SuperRare can't access it, and no one else can. And so it's impossible for the tokens to be fake because you can always track back into history on Ethereum, on Etherscan, anywhere you can view the token back directly to the creation date and the exact wallet that it was created from. And so that's kind of a big key on SuperRare, is that the artists are the ones minting them directly from their own wallets. And then from the collector's standpoint, when you buy one of these tokens, it becomes a token in your wallet. So the same way you'll have Bitcoin in your wallet, you'll have a one-of-a-kind token sitting in your wallet. And that token can only be in your wallet if you own it. And once you do own an artwork, you then have the ability to resell it if you choose to or not. But basically only the person that holds that token in their wallet has control over setting a new list price or auctioning it or whatever they want to do. But at any given time, only one person in the world can have that particular token in their wallet.
Okay, cool.
So let's say I buy an artwork on SuperRare and I become the owner. Can I then resell it to other people, or how does it work, this whole process?
Yep. So if you buy an artwork on SuperRare, you're the owner. On your SuperRare profile, you see it listed under your collection. If you go to OpenSea or Rarible, you'll see it listed under your collection. Basically, any of those platforms like OpenSea and Rarible, they will show all of the NFTs that are in your wallet. And on SuperRare, you see all of your SuperRare tokens that are in your wallet. And so once you own it, you then are the owner and creator. And if you want to list it for $1 billion, you list it for $1 billion and it hits the marketplace with a list price of $1 billion. If you want to do a timed auction, you set a timed auction. But basically, once the artist sells it to you, you're now the owner of that artwork. You can do whatever you want with that artwork.
Cool. And so you did mention a word in there as well, minting. What does it mean to mint something? Is that when tell me.
Yeah, sure. So basically to mint something is just the process of registering that artwork file as a single edition token and the process of creating that token. And so on SuperRare, might be helpful if I share my screen.
That'd be awesome.
Can I do that now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'll just go through a few things. So this is my profile on SuperRare. Let me get this stuff. So this is my profile on SuperRare. Everyone has a collection, collectors, and then artists on SuperRare also have their creations tab. And so these 88 artworks are artworks that I have collected from other artists, and these 125 artworks are artworks that I have created and minted myself. And so as a collector, I can look at my collection. These 88 artworks that are listed here are all artworks that I have purchased previously and now own. You can see, okay, I bought this one for 1.32 ETH. I bought this one for 1 ETH. You can kind of go through all of them, but as the owner now of these tokens, so there's 88 of them. If I go into my wallet on any MetaMask or any crypto wallet, I can actually see all of these as single edition tokens, similar to how I would see Bitcoin in my wallet. Now that I own all of these, I have the power to list them for whatever I want. And so you can see some of them, like this one, I have a list price set at 10 ETH. I purchased it for 1.2. If I wanted to, I could go in and remove the list price of 10 ETH. I could change it to a list price of 100 ETH. But essentially, that all happens here on SuperRare. And once you own the artwork, you have the ability to kind of go in and decide on how you're going to sell it. From the artist's standpoint, the way it works on SuperRare is that artists first apply to get access to SuperRare. we're getting currently about 250 to 300 applications a day.
Wow.
And it's definitely like kind of blown up in the last month to be a lot more, but currently we're accepting in the like 50 to 60 people a month range.
Wow.
That is growing quickly because we're growing the artist acceptance side in line with the number of new collectors joining. And so as the number of daily active collectors is growing pretty quickly, we're now accepting artists at a faster rate. But essentially, artists can submit their application to SuperRare. If you go to SuperRare and scroll to the homepage and scroll down to get on our radar, if you click that, there's basically a link, but any creators can submit an application to be reviewed. Usually takes a few weeks to hear back, but you can get an application in and the team will be able to review it as soon as possible. Once an artist is accepted, they then are basically whitelisted and given full access to SuperRare. And so what that means is that each artist has their own unique ETH address. And so you could see, this is my SuperRare account. My unique ETH address is right here, 0xb300. And so this is what my SuperRare account is connected to, this particular wallet. And so as an artist, if you want to mint, you just go to this URL. Only whitelisted artists can access this page, but essentially it's like going to Instagram and releasing a piece. It's the same thing, except you're releasing it to get bids instead of likes. And so you can upload the artwork file, drag and drop, it all uploads, fill out all of the information, enter some tags, press issue token, and then within about 5 minutes, the artwork will go live on your profile. And from there, it's basically open for bidding. Collectors can start placing offers. You can set a list price. You can do timed auctions if you want. And every artist has a dashboard that kind of manages all of their stats, manages the total number of sales they've done, and then also manages their incoming offers. And so at any time, I can go into my dashboard and I'll see each of my artworks and current high offer that I have and a button to accept. And so essentially, SuperRare, it's giving artists the tools to be able to kind of do this themselves. That's kind of one of the big differences about SuperRare compared to other platforms, is that it's fully 100% peer-to-peer. And so what that means is that SuperRare never takes custody of anyone's money or anyone's art. Any of these sales that are happening directly from the collector and their wallet and the artist and their wallet. The artists are the ones minting them, SuperRare is not. And so we have no access to artists' wallets. Any payouts that happen are automatic at the time of sale and go directly into the artist's wallets. And so the process is super easy, though. It's just, once you're whitelisted, you just go to a certain page on SuperRare and you're able to tokenize your piece freely.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So is it so if I'm an artist on SuperRare, is it free to upload something, or is there any price to pay for uploading? How does it exactly work, these economics?
Yep. So artists on SuperRare have to pay the gas cost to mint an artwork. Basically, what the gas cost is, it goes directly to Ethereum miners, who are the ones that are processing all of these many transactions happening across different platforms and different things that are happening on Ethereum. And so the gas price will fluctuate throughout the day, but on average, for the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing in the like $20 to $60 range to tokenize and mint an artwork. And so basically at the time you go to mint it, you press issue token, and then MetaMask will pop open. It'll say, this is the minting fee. It usually will be $30 to $60. You'll confirm it and pay that fee using Ether in your MetaMask. And then from there, the transaction happens and it goes live.
Gotcha. So people are asking about like gas prices and fees and way to get any way to lower them or make minting free. Sounds like SuperRare, like you said, doesn't really deal with any of that. That all happens kind of through MetaMask. Is that correct? Or
so Yes, so it does all happen through MetaMask. Like we are looking into potential ways to change the setup to where the collector is the one that covers the gas fee after the sale, or some sort of refund to the artist out of the sale. But for now, artists are the ones that have to pay the minting fee. Now it's, the average sale price right now for an artwork on SuperRare is over $5,000, and so to pay $20 to $60 makes sense for most. I think on a platform, if you're selling kind of artworks in a lower price point, then I think the minting fee can potentially become an issue for some. But it is kind of a short term thing. Ethereum, over the course of this year, the plan is to move towards ETH 2.0, which it's essentially this. So it's a little technical, but essentially it's going to change Ethereum from being proof of work, which is where miners are the ones that are processing the transactions, to a proof of stake, where actually it'll be a staking mechanism that will handle it. And as that happens, the gas prices are expected to dramatically come back down and be reduced. Same with like any sort of energy consumption that happens because of Ethereum. That all takes place. That all is pretty much eliminated with the move to Ethereum 2.0. But in the next, coming months before that transition takes place, the artists, just have to pay for the minting.
Got it. Yeah, that's a huge deal with just like sort of the environmental impact and the energy it takes and all that. So that proof of stake, is that what you said?
Yes.
That's, moving to Ethereum 2.0 is crucial, and that's what people are asking about. Here's a quick question though for you as well. Like, what's to stop me, say for instance I get approved and then I upload somebody else's artwork and sell it? Like, is that a
so
concern?
You then lose your access as an artist? And
okay.
Kind of, most artists are not, once they get access, after waiting patiently to get on or not, everyone takes it really seriously. Especially just getting a spot right now is pretty hard with the amount of incoming applications, and so I think we do have rules there. The way it mainly works is that we comply with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and so if a copyright holder contacts us and says, "Hey, this artist has used my image or my audio," or whatever it is, then at that time we have to take the artwork down, and that dispute is settled between the party that's claiming infringement and the artist directly. And so the artists, when they tokenize, they're accepting liability for any future copyright claims that will come up from it. But when it comes to like artists on SuperRare just stealing other artists' work, it does, or to date it hasn't happened. So
yeah, no, that's good to know. I feel like, so there are other marketplaces out there. Who knows how they treat those situations? The fact that you guys have, like, kind of currently, I don't know, it's harder to get onto SuperRare. I think it seems the barrier of entry being higher. Seems like you have, you're kind of keeping track of who's there and who isn't, as opposed to just letting everybody else in and letting everybody upload stuff and trying to manage all that.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, part of it. Like our most kind of important role as a platform is ensuring that we maintain collectors' trust. And I think that a big part of that is taking like the artist vetting process seriously, making sure we're getting thousands of applications, and people could very easily say they are someone that they're not, and so making sure these people actually are the creator that they're claiming to be in their application, so that type of thing doesn't happen. But yes, there's platforms out there where anyone can just go to Google, download an image, and mint it as their own. I think that those platforms have pretty quickly lost a lot of collector trust, and I think that's a big part of why price points are higher on SuperRare. But as the space continues to go forward, I think having that authenticity layer is going to become super important. That being said, I mean, I think it's great that there are places where people can experiment and go and while they're waiting to get on SuperRare, try things out and learn about the marketplace. I think that there's a ton of projects that are doing really cool stuff. But on SuperRare specifically, I think that that's a key to our success so far is the seriousness of that.
How many artworks are on SuperRare today?
A little over 20,000. I can see exactly.
Is there so now that you have seen tons of them, is there anything that you can say about like what kind of content kind of sells well, versus what maybe doesn't sell that well? Is there like anything that like, hey, if it's animated and if it's like this and that, it might have a higher chance of being sold or whatever, like.
And related to that, do you have any tips for even getting accepted on SuperRare?
Exactly. Yeah. As an artist, like, is there some of the qualities you might be looking for,
For sure. So yeah, when it comes to like different file types and stills versus animations versus digital painting, there really isn't a correlation of like the type of file and price. It's totally different for every artist, I think, depending on what showcases their particular style the best. I think the artists that are doing the best on SuperRare are the ones that have a unique look and feel and style and are doing something fresh that when they release an artwork and it hits the marketplace, everybody immediately knows whose it is, versus having to wonder, could this be one of 300 other artists that are all doing the same looping animations? And so I think a big part of like one being successful once you're on SuperRare is staying true to yourself and your style and not trying to like mimic what you see working for other people, but really focus on like bringing something unique, having a consistent look and feel so that when people see your work, they know that it's yours. In terms of like upping your chances at success on getting in, so I would definitely say one, be patient. Definitely, we appreciate it, and it's not going to help to email us every day asking about it. Definitely, everyone's application gets reviewed, and so number one, be patient. Number two, look at the market, and you can see kind of what exists, what's available, and try to kind of bring something new and fresh to the space. I think right now, probably 80% of the people that are applying are 3D artists. So it is a bit harder right now to get in as a 3D artist, just because the number of applications that you're competing against is much higher. That being said, like it just totally depends on your particular style and what works best for you. I would definitely spend some time on your application and not just like fill it out in a minute and send it off. Think of it in a way like a job application, like give as much information as you can, link your websites, link your socials. Really at the end of the day, when it comes to like social media following and all of that, like we do take it into consideration, but it's the last thing that we look at the end of the application. Like definitely the most important thing is the art and having like a real style and look to what you're doing. If you submit like a digital painting and a 3D artwork and photography artwork and just like send us 100 different artworks of 100 different styles, then you're going to have a lower chance of getting in than somebody that sends us 3 artworks of a very clear, unique style that brings something fresh to the space.
And that's what we tell designers all the time. It's like, you got to have a consistent portfolio so the client knows what they're getting. If it's a mixed bag, it's not going to work. But thank you so much for answering that, because a lot of people were asking that in chat, because they look at, say, SuperRare and they see some digital artwork. They're like, my stuff doesn't fit into that. And that's like, hey, that's an opportunity for you to really shine and, present your unique point of view and your unique art. Even if it's photography, like we have some photographers in here asking about photography, if that's an area you guys get involved in.
Yeah, so we're working on adding different kind of categories to SuperRare, potentially having a photography section. So far, we haven't yet started accepting photography, just mainly because it's such a wide genre, and it kind of opens up a bit of a can of worms for all the artists already on SuperRare. Like if one artist is allowed to tokenize a really beautiful fine art photograph, why what's to prevent another artist from just tokenizing a selfie? Like basically, once a artist has access to tokenize on SuperRare, we don't censor what they create, and so there's a lot of trust that comes with it.
Yeah.
Because once you're whitelisted, I mean, you could literally go on that night and mint, anything you want, and so there's a bit of trust involved. And so I think once we have the ability to categorize photography with photography, I think we'll be able to start adding more photographers. But right now, a lot of artists will use photography as part of the artwork or as a base in the artwork that they then digitally draw on or animate or do some additional things, so it's not just a photograph.
Yeah. Good call, man. I'm sure everybody's going to be interested in submitting their portfolio. And I actually, just so you know, I went through the process, and I really appreciated the process of, hey, you know what? You got to upload a video, spend some time, getting your portfolio squared away, pick your best pieces, put your best foot forward, because you're competing with a lot of other people out there now. And chances are you might only have like one shot, at least the way it's like set up now. And anyways, when you get eyeballs in your stuff, make it count. So I think it's pretty cool. So I have my fingers crossed. I hope I make it in. I hope everybody else does as well and gets their stuff submitted. But it's an exciting new area. And
well, our goal really is to open it up as much as we can over the course of this year. I think the amount of incoming collectors is growing at a pretty insane pace, and I think assuming that continues and new collectors continue joining, I don't see why we won't be able to 10x easily the number of artists we're adding a month. And so as the market continues to grow, we're going to be able to add a lot more, and eventually our goal really is for SuperRare long-term vision to be more community owned and operated, where the people that are getting access to tokenize isn't decided by our curation team and more decided by either a panel that is elected by the community. But I do definitely see the total process becoming far more decentralized over the coming years.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Can you tell us a little bit about like the beginnings of SuperRare? Like obviously it's 2018. I guess like nobody knows about NFTs at that point. Only like a very small group of people, that are like super excited about it. Like, how did the idea come together? And like why Ethereum versus Bitcoin? In this sense, like as a total noob, I don't even like necessarily understand the differences between those two. And why Ethereum is used for tokenizing NFTs.
Yeah. So a couple questions in there, so I'll try to answer them. But for the last one, like why Ethereum over Bitcoin? So Ethereum is really the first time smart contracts were introduced, and that is basically what SuperRare is. SuperRare is a smart contract. Any other platforms, for the most part, they're all smart contracts, and so that technology isn't currently available on Bitcoin. The only way to build SuperRare currently is using Ethereum and the non-fungible token standard that was created. And so from a technical standpoint, Ethereum is really the only blockchain so far that can build this type of setup that we've created that's fully decentralized and peer-to-peer. What was your other question? Sorry.
How did you come about in 2018? You mentioned that you started, like obviously the world didn't care too much about NFTs, and like tokenizing artworks, so how did this idea come about, and why did you decide to basically build it, in a way?
Yeah, so I got lucky. I was at I paid like 500 or some crazy amount to go to this like 1-day weekend blockchain for business seminar in New York. I went to that as kind of more of like a networking thing. Like in 2018, I kind of decided I wanted to either start a project in blockchain or join a team. And so I was going to different networking events, and I saw two of the SuperRare guys. This was a few days after they had launched SuperRare, and they were there kind of presenting SuperRare to this group of people. And this was the first time I had ever heard of what a non-fungible token was. And for many people, it takes a while to kind of wrap your head around it. I kind of instantly got it, and really was it was a huge aha moment, and I really kind of saw how massive this could become. Ended up getting on to the SuperRare team pretty shortly after that to handle all of the marketing, but we were the first ever digital art marketplace on Ethereum. First, doing artist royalties, and in the beginning, pretty much everyone that applied would get on just because 5 people a week or something were applying, maybe. Any like serious artists that we'd hit up, or serious collectors that we'd hit up to try to get involved. For the most part, didn't want anything to do with crypto, and we're used to kind of crypto being seen as like usually some sort of scam. And then we heard many people that would laugh and say nobody's ever going to buy digital art. You can't hang it on your wall. Like, you can download the file. Like, why does this have any value? And we just kind of stuck strong to the notion that this would be a thing. I think the entire generation growing up right now has never known a world without digital, and to them, seeing art on a digital screen is probably even more natural than seeing art on a frame in a museum. And so I think that now that collectors are starting to take note, and more artists are starting to take note, and there's kind of this big influx into the space, I think it's of course a lot easier now for everyone to understand, and everybody thinks they know everything about NFTs, and it's all great to see, because we've been kind of preaching this for a long time. And I think that we just recently raised some funding, and we did 100-something VC calls before raising over the last 3 years. And for a very long time, it wasn't yet believed that this would be a thing. And so I think that now that it is a thing, it's just dreams coming true. In the last 30 days, almost 180 artists made more than $10,000 on SuperRare. Yeah. That's like a lawyer's salary or a doctor's salary. Like, it's especially in many countries around the world where money goes further. And so I think the most exciting part of all of it to me is just the fact that now digital creators are really starting to get the interest and notoriety that they deserve. Many have been spending a decade or more creating digital art for an internet that doesn't have a way to sell it. Yeah. And all they could gain is followers and views, but then Facebook and Instagram are the ones making all the money off of those views and follows. And so it's really, a total revolution, but I think, we're still in the Wild West of this whole thing. We'll see a ton of change in the coming years, but it's all, a very exciting time to be getting involved.
Certainly, man. We still have plenty of questions, but also we're short on time as well, because I want to respect your time, Zach. And I would love to recap. I'm sure, Tom, you have maybe some closing questions. But some people are like, oh, it's a money grab. I love the quote that you actually have on your side. It gives our digital artists the same kind of value, admiration, and respect that traditional artists get, and is being recognized as a true art form from a wider community. So I think that's what resonates with me. I'm not just creating something, posting it on Instagram, and that I did it for likes. It's like, wow, it could actually have real value. So it's pretty exciting for me as a creator. Definitely, and everybody watching. A lot of people are saying, yeah, this is awesome. So there's always questions around like, well, people can still steal your work. It's like, and you would probably say this, like people can take pictures of the Mona Lisa. Yeah, they have a picture of it, but you're the original owner of that digital Mona Lisa or furry Mona Lisa.
For sure. Like my super rare profile is roses. So if anybody wants to go and download or screenshot or share any of the artworks I own, I'd really appreciate it, because
cool.
that will actually make my artworks worth more. So please try to steal them.
Sweet. Steal away. Tom, did you have any closing comments?
Definitely. One last question, so obviously we talked about the past, we talked about the present, my last question is like, what's the future, like, where do you see it, how are you thinking about future of this whole thing?
For sure. Yeah. So I think that there's going to be a massive influx to the NFT space in the coming months. We'll see, dozens of more platforms that will launch and different collectibles projects that will launch. And I think the projects that are going to win in the long term are the ones that really maintain collector trust and authenticity of the tokens. The way the tokens are minted is very important. And I think, as a lot of collectors come into the space, they don't initially fully understand the differences between platforms and how things are minted. But I would definitely say, anyone looking to purchase NFTs, do your research before you buy. Don't just kind of go on to any platform and start buying. Like, have a better idea of, how those tokens were minted. Were they minted by the artists? But, for SuperRare, our goal really is to make everyone with a cell phone an art collector. And I think that the way to do that is to continue building out SuperRare in a way that, one, continues to open it up more and more and give more and more access to more creators, but also keeping a heavy focus on the collector experience and making sure we're giving collectors the tools to better experience the art that they're creating. I think we'll see a big move towards streaming of artworks and digital frames and different ways to enjoy the artworks in the physical world. And then, really, I mentioned earlier, but like the overall grand goal is for SuperRare to eventually be much more open and owned by the community directly, and decisions to be made by the community and not just our team.
Good. And one last question, like, can you display digital art, and if you have something to say about that?
Can you display it?
Yeah, or how would you display it at home, like, as people were saying, like you can't buy a picture and display it. Like, how do you do that,
Here's like an example. This is a mural frame, but basically there's a bunch of different digital frames out there. This is the one I have, is a mural, but you can put any artworks that you own onto the digital frames. There's 3 or 4 models that are pretty cool. There's also different TVs now that are doing a digital frame thing. And then we're working on our own kind of streaming app where you'll be able to stream a playlist of artworks you own to a digital frame or to a TV or a computer or any screen. And so I definitely think that, there will be there's a big business in the displaying of these artworks, I think. And we'll see a lot happening there in the next year, I'd say.
Very cool. Into it. I want some of those digital picture frames I've seen from like Samsung and stuff. It's awesome.
Sure.
Well, cool. Zach, I'm going to give you your time back. I just really appreciate it. Plenty of questions still coming in. I just pasted in the FAQ into chat just for everybody to kind of check out. Looks like some people also submitted their applications to SuperRare, which was cool to see. And I think everybody just really appreciated it. So give, of course, Zach and Tom a big thank you for hanging out with us, giving his time freely. Thanks, Zach. Sure. And thank you, Tom. I love the Around experience as well. It's been super cool.
Yeah, Around's super cool.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Awesome.
So much cool technology. We'll do this again. Lots of interest around digital art and crypto art and digital currency. We'll talk about it later.
Perfect.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll be in touch.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.
Bye-bye.
Wave. Bye.